So this is already all like synced up.
Yeah, like right now we are podcasting. I mean, we're not live.
Right.
I don't do live, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna drink a little bit, take some deep grounding breaths, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we can jump in. The only L about my water, or filling up water in the van, is it's always ice cold. Well, if it's cold outside, it's fucking ice cold. Yeah.
Yeah. And is it like, does it get hot during the summertime?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which isn't, like, I actually don't mind that so much, because, like, I always want to be drinking at least lukewarm water.
Yeah.
Because if it's cold, do you know about that? Like, it's hard
your body uses more energy
to digest it, right?
Yeah.
And like, I don't care. Personally, I don't have a preference.
Yeah.
For hot or cold water, so I'd rather just be easier for my body to be like, yeah, we're good.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, how do you cool it down during the summer? Like, how do you cool your van down? Not just the water, but like how do you stay cool? Do you just leave the doors open? Like
doors open, fans on. I just move air.
Do you have like a bug net? Like blocks insects? Do you have like a bug net?
Oh yeah, on my windows. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all the windows have a bug net on there.
That's smart.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I actually, one of my big windows in there, the one that doesn't have a bug net, it doesn't open, so it doesn't need a bug net.
Yeah.
But it's the biggest, longest, beautiful window other than my windshield.
Yeah.
And
the one on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, that's provided me with some magnificent views, just like a handful of times. But I'm actually thinking about like insulating and then covering that up, so I have a huge, like one big wall right there.
Oh, I got you.
Because I really I don't know, I think I just value, keeping it hotter and or colder more than I do the view that I get every now and then.
Right.
And I could still,
I can see that.
It's right next to my doors. If I really want the view, I can just open my fucking doors or look through the windows that are on my doors.
Right. Yeah, just go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, it's just kind of like, I realized, really, I've been thinking about this the past week, and I finally realized I'm just holding on to something that I don't really need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, whenever I've gone on the Parkway and I like lay on that board that's in my car. Yeah. I love just like being able to see out the back and just like chilling there like at an overlook, like. Dude. Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of one of my favorite things to do, specifically when there's like little to no people around, because I get a little bit anxious leaving all my van doors open when there's a bunch of people around. Yeah. But the two back doors of my van, I'll swing those fuckers wide open and just have like fresh air coming through the whole van, and like I'll back up to the good view and just open that up. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't realize that the back opened. Yeah. On your van. Oh, okay. That's cool. Dude, I hardly ever open them. I literally only do it for those kinds of moments, those views. Or like, dude, there's been so many mornings actually on the Parkway specifically that I've been posted up. I'll wake up in the morning, the sun is already like beating on the van, so I'll crack open the doors, hang my head out off the side of the futon, and get direct sunlight straight into my eyeballs. And I'll just meditate for like 10 minutes. That sounds so nice. And it's already like set in circadian rhythms, and I'm getting vitamin D going and everything else. You know what I'm saying? It's so good for you, man. It is. I love the sunshine. Yeah. I'll never forget. I saw one time that it was like some sleep study or something like that. I think I might have mentioned this to you, but it basically the sum of it was that the things that help you sleep the best at night were, number one, the amount of sunlight you're exposed to throughout the day, and number two, the amount of exercise you get. Oh yeah. And after I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go be in the sun like as much as I can. I mean, obviously to like a safe amount, but and it's it's so nice. I love it. Yeah. Do you wear sunscreen? No. Unless I go to the beach. Oh, weird. Unless I am gonna be like exposed to the sun for a long period of time, but even then, I don't like putting it on my body. I'll just put it on my face. I'm the guy at the beach who like sets up an umbrella. Oh yeah. and we'll just chill under the umbrella, right, for pretty much the whole time. Like if I get bored, like I'll go jump in the water, like play around a little bit,
and
then like just get right back under my umbrella.
Right.
Maybe go for like a walk, but not long enough to like get burnt.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just don't know if that's good for you. I don't know.
What? Sun
like
without?
Like sunscreen.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's totally valid. I think sunscreen is like, I mean, I'm sure there's some brands that are legit and probably not so bad for you. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure most of them, I think Huberman has talked about it at one point actually, about how there's like really like not, I can't remember the deets, but there is really unhealthy things in sunscreen for us to just be like continually absorbing into our skin.
Yeah.
But I'm the dude at the beach that is probably the palest one there, first of all. You know, like I'm actually glowing most of the time with my shirt off.
Do you burn?
I absolutely burn, but because I burn so bad, I have to wear sunscreen. Even I'll start actually I'll start burning my skin within 10 minutes of being in direct sunlight without sunscreen. So like, I'm always slapping on sunscreen, and because of that, I don't hang out under umbrellas anymore. I used to be the shade dude. Yeah. But like, if I'm putting on sunscreen, I might as well be out in that sun soaking it up. And I'll start to freckle too, which is super rad. Yeah. Do you freckle at all?
I have some freckles. Yeah. I don't know if it gets worse though. Like when I'm in the sun. Yeah. Like I feel like I have my established freckles, and they're just like there.
Got you. You know. You don't think you get more?
I don't think so. Not that I've noticed.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you like freckles? Like, do you like yours?
I honestly don't really pay attention to them much,
weird.
To be honest with you. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of there. Yeah. You know?
The only L about getting fucking stabbed up and inked up is that it totally takes away. I mean, you can actually kind of see my freckles in the petunias there? Yeah. You can still kind of see them. Yeah. But they take away from your skin's natural natural beauty to some extent.
Yeah.
But
dude, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are we podcasting right now?
Yeah, we're chilling, bro. We're chilling, bro.
Is this
yes. Yeah. We're just in.
Okay.
We're already balls
deep. That's
deep.
what I was wondering. I was like, are we just okay?
Yep.
Anyway.
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
So this is Chris, and my main intention with chatting today is just to get to know you in regards to just to question you on the Appalachian Trail that you're going to be hiking, which is a fucking huge undertaking, and I didn't know about it literally at all until you first brought it up. So the first question that comes to mind is where are you starting?
Where does it start?
Yeah.
It starts in Georgia, northern Georgia. Okay. So it starts in Amicalola Falls State Park, I think is what it's called. And it starts at the top of a mountain called Springer Mountain. Okay. And that's the established, it's called the southern terminus of the Apple.
What?
Terminus.
Terminus?
Terminus. So there's a southern terminus, which is in Springer Mountain in Georgia. And then there's a northern terminus, which is on the top of Mount Katahdin, or it's pronounced a bunch of different ways.
Got you.
In central Maine. And so that's the goal, to get from Georgia to Maine.
Right. How many miles?
I think it changes from year to year.
It changes?
Because the trail gets maintained and kind of changed at times. But I think the last time I saw it was 2,198, or it could be 89. 2,189. Yeah. So that's. Yeah. Do you know, is it mostly avoiding mountains, or are you oh no.
Does it go over, under?
It goes up and over in Appalachian Mountains the entire time. You're doing this just incessantly. Actually, the craziest thing that I heard, so there's in the United States, there's 3 major, really big through hikes.
Really big what?
Through hikes is what they're called.
Yeah.
So there's the Appalachian Trail. That's, that's one of the big ones. And there's the Pacific Crest Trail, and then there's the Continental Divide Trail, right? So those are the 3 big ones. There's more of them, but those are the big 3.
Right.
And the Appalachian Trail is actually the shortest one, but many people say that it's physically the most difficult because you're doing this over and over again. So to put it into perspective, these other long trails are close to like 500 miles more. Or I don't know exactly how long the Continental Divide is. I think it might be like 3,000 miles long. But there's actually less climbing overall on those trails. So like on the Appalachian Trail, it's like you climb an extra 100,000 feet, even though it's even shorter. So not only is it shorter, but you're also climbing more often.
Actually, 100. You said 100,000 feet?
I think there's overall like 100,000 feet, like more of like climbing in itself.
Fuck.
And I think that includes like up and down, but just elevation gain in general.
Dude, holy shit balls.
And people also say, you know, the conditions, like the weather, like because it rains so much more.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Dude, damn.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like preparation mentally.
Word.
That goes into that.
Real quick, let me check in on your mic.
Sure.
Nice. Is mine red?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you mind? I hear your coat swishing.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
And just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, thank you, brother.
Getting swishy over here.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so people know, like, you are well versed already in backpacking and hiking. Yeah. Like, how long have you been the outdoors guy for?
I started getting really outdoorsy when I was 20.
Got you.
So like back in like 2015.
Right. Wait, so how old are you now?
28.
Got
I'm about
you.
to turn 29 in
Word.
10 days.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. So, yeah, I wasn't always outdoorsy.
Right.
I think I told you about that
Dude,
before.
yeah. That story, yeah, bro. I remember when at work, when you told me the story of, I think it's your first time telling me the story of your moment when you were looking out off of Blue Ridge Parkway.
Yeah.
And you had that snap realization where you're like, oh, yeah, maybe I could let you tell it, actually.
Oh, it was like like to this day, like the biggest epiphany I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I originally, like I said, wasn't very outdoorsy at all. And
What did your life look like before that moment?
Before that?
Yeah, paint it for me.
Okay. So like, just like your typical dude, like typical bro, like, like all I did was, like I loved football.
Yeah.
Like I loved just like watching football. Like I was the dude, like, I was the Carolina Panthers fan, all right? Like I was the dude, like at one point, like if the Panthers like lost a game at the last second, like I literally have memories of me like ripping my shirt in half. Like it was so dumb. Like anyway.
Yeah.
So that was like me.
Yeah.
I was really into football. And I was really into like video games. I never went outside. It just wasn't my thing. You know, I was just like honestly kind of a boring dude. You know, I like to learn and that sort of thing. Like I always, you know, love to dive into new things, but those were like my core things I did, which like looking back, it's like, those aren't core things. Dude. Those are like, just, I don't even know, man. But anyway, I won't like go into that for too long. So yeah, I went to UNC Charlotte for 2 years.
Studying?
I studied business and I focused on accounting. So I did kind of like pre-accounting, pre-business classes for 2 years. So I did like a lot of economics and like accounting classes, managerial accounting, and like financial accounting, like just kind of like soul-sucking things, at least for me. Yeah. And I started to realize that. I started to realize it in the moment when I was doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm gonna be miserable if I keep doing this. And so my family had moved to Asheville, North Carolina, in 2013, and I had just come home to visit them for the summertime because I was living in Charlotte, and I was going to stay with them for the whole summer. And so I did, and I came home, and I had never gone up on the Blue Ridge Parkway just myself. Like my family had taken me in past summers in the past, but I never really like appreciated it. Like I probably just sat there like texting people the whole ride. Like, and I went up there by myself and I went to this one overlook. Like to this day, I still remember, it's the Tambark Ridge Overlook. Okay. And I was standing there and I looked out and I just saw this just spectacular view of the mountains. And it just like, it like hit me like a freight train. Like I was just it was like everything like that I thought I was just started melting away. Like I was just like, I was so stunned at like the beauty and just like the awakening of whatever that view gave me at that point, that it just completely changed me like right there. Like it was insane. I like can't even describe it. Like it's like I literally became like, it's like that's when like my full like stream of consciousness began as a person. It was like, it was so jarring, that like the natural beauty of it, that it like literally woke me up. Like I was like, oh fuck, like.
Right. And you were 20? Is that right?
20. I was 20 at the time. And I stood there and I was like, this is me. I was like, this is who I am. I was like, I want to explore this.
Dude.
I want to dive into this. Like, this is gonna be, this is who I am. It hit me. I was like, this is really who I am. And so I went home that day. I couldn't sleep that entire night. I pulled an all-nighter because I was so energized by that moment. I laid in bed and all I could think about was like, how am I gonna tell my family like that I've got to make like a life change.
A huge shift, yeah.
Like, because I'm just like this boring dude who likes watching football and like playing video games. Like I literally, the whole summer before that, I literally just worked at Sears and played Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like all day long. That's all I did. And now I'm like this dude who's like into the outdoors. And they're like, what are you doing? And so I've got to like, go ahead.
Do you have any previous role models that were like, did you have any other people in your life who were outdoorsy?
My dad.
Okay, cool.
My dad was very outdoorsy. I was actually like the outlier of my family.
Okay.
Yeah, so like my brother was outdoorsy, my dad, my mom, my grandfather. Like I grew up around like the outdoorsy, like an outdoorsy crowd, you know? And that's what inspired them to move to Asheville, you know, was because they were so into the outdoors. And yeah, so I just wasn't a guy. I have memories of like when I was a little kid, like we actually would come to Asheville on vacation and they would go hike to waterfalls and I would literally sit in the car and play like my DS.
Yeah.
Like when I think back on that now, I like cringe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was that
I
kid.
was, dude.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that.
And you're like, wow, like you just don't appreciate it when you're a kid. And so, yeah, so to kind of like go back to where we were. Yeah, so I was laying in bed, pulled an all-nighter. That next morning, I'm already like sitting out on like my family's porch, like, and I'm like awake like before my mom. I think my dad was working that morning. He's always worked like a 3 to 12, 3 a.m. to 12. He's just like an early riser kind of dude. So he was already gone, but I was like sitting out on the porch already at like 6 a.m., which was weird.
Yeah.
And my mom came out. She's like, Christopher? Like, what are you doing out here? And I was like, oh, I'm just, just hanging out, or whatever. And then, I beat around the bush for a little bit, and then eventually I was like, Mom, I've got like something I kind of want to share. I was like, I really like think I need to make like a change academically. I was like, I really don't want to.
Was that scary?
Yeah, because I felt like I had this identity. Yeah. And then it felt like I was discovering my actual one at the time. It was a really interesting moment in my life. But yeah, I told her that I wanted to study environmental science and that I wanted to drop out of UNC Charlotte and I wanted to live in Asheville because I just loved the mountains so much. And it was initially kind of received very well, actually. It wasn't really like a shock, but I think what was more shocking was like kind of like my behavior afterwards, which is like I dove in like 100% like immediately, like
into like different books and shit, or what?
Just into the like being outdoorsy. Like I would wake up at like 6 a.m. and I would be in the woods from like 6 a.m. until like 9 p.m.
Damn.
Like all day long. Just, I would read, I would hike around, I would explore, and I remember just feeling like I was like just experiencing like life for the first time, like real life. you know, and myself, like my real self, and I was like really like engaging with that. And I remember it being like really odd even for me at the time. I remember feeling like
noticing it,
like there's a big change. Like it felt like I had, it wasn't like a chapter ended. It was like a whole book ended of my life, and like a whole new book was beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting, man. So like I've been that way since 20.
Got you.
And that was what sparked it all. Haven't turned back.
Right.
Yeah.
And so since then, like, what are the different outdoor pretty much all your jobs have been outdoor based now since then, right?
They sure have. Yeah.
And like working at, I don't want to say the name of where we work now, right? So try to remember that.
I'm gonna try to.
Okay, yeah. If you do, I can. It's totally editable.
Okay.
But working where we do now, you've been working there for how long?
Okay.
Yeah.
At the place.
Yeah, the place.
I've been working there since July of last year.
Got you. So over a year.
Oh well, so not last because it's 2024 now. So July of 2022.
Got you.
Yeah.
Right.
So like a year and 5 months, whatever that is.
Right.
I think that's right.
And this job totally includes like at least once a shift usually you're going out and backpacking in the woods with clients or camping, right?
Oh yeah, like you're going backpacking or even just a day hike.
Yeah.
You know, and just the fact that we live where we live with these guys, to me, you know, is like you're immersed in it.
Right.
We're like on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Where if there wasn't all the Verizon stuff set up like on our campus, like it would just be like no cell service, super rural.
Right.
I just love that.
Dude, yeah, I always tell people that like if you didn't know that our facility was a rehab facility, you would drive by it and you could walk around in it and think and be totally under the impression that this is a meditation retreat facility.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Because it's fucking gorgeous and it's just all natural. Like, it's really cool.
It is.
So, anyways, my point with bringing that up is like that, just to say, like,
burped a little.
oh god, it'll be all right. Oh shit. So my point with bringing that up is like the hiking experience has totally been trickled in to your work experience, right? And then even more so before that, didn't you do something with doing bird walks with people?
Yeah, so I worked for a company called Asheville Hiking Tours. Represent.
Yeah.
They're a great company. Asheville Hiking Tours, and when I was there, I would take people out on guided hikes. So you could either pick these already pre-chosen hikes, or people could create private hikes, and like they would just like come up with something. They'd be like, hey,
what's the mileage range?
The public ones could be like, or not the public ones, the like pre-made ones were anywhere from like 1 to 2 miles.
Oh, got you.
But people could do whatever they wanted on the private ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Were there people that did like over 10 miles at any point?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think the longest I ever did was like 5 or 6.
Weird. Was it paid by the hour or what? How was that?
It was paid by the hike, by like the excursion, and then I would get tips too.
Oh wow.
And that was pretty nice.
Nice. Holy shit.
I loved that company a lot. They paid pretty decently, like pretty well. But yeah, I would take people out, and so I guess I can kind of share like, so my background is ecology, environmental biology. Like that's what I ended up going to school for when I switched from business, and that taught me like a bunch of things like all the birds in this area. You know, I can teach you all the birds by sight or sound.
Yeah.
Trees, edible plants, medicinal plants, wildflowers, you know, and just a number of other things.
Right.
The natural history of the area. And so that's what I would do on those hikes. Like those people would do the hike and we'd be going to like waterfalls and like go see the Blue Ridge Parkway, but along the way I would teach them edible plants and like birds singing. I'm like, oh, well, it's a northern flicker, y'all.
Right. Dude, yeah.
You know?
And that education that you like got, absolute. I've seen it so many times, bro. It totally shines through you in moments where we like pull up to somewhere working at the place that we do.
Yeah.
And you can
I love it, man.
like you'll so naturally machine gun facts about like the area.
Yeah.
And I'll just notice that you almost go into a mode, and it's fucking great. Which it's so cool. Actually.
I love it, man. Yeah.
So
it's my passion.
So you really do you legitimately have fucking not only just years of educational experience, but years of feet on the ground experience, right?
Like
do you know
actually
what I'm saying?
going backpacking and stuff
and
like that. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to
Yeah.
talk about that? Yeah. So I originally just first started going just on my own.
Okay.
My first ever backpacking trip was actually kind of a fail. I went out when I knew a hurricane was coming, but I was like, oh, I'm in the mountains. Like, it won't get to the mountains, right?
Yeah.
It did. It was actually pretty bad. And I actually got trapped up on the Blue Ridge Parkway at 5,000 feet. I was way up there.
Oh,
and it started dumping rain, started getting really windy, and I hiked out the next day. I ended up camping that one night, and I got back to my car, and there was a note on my car, and it was from a park ranger, and it was basically saying hey, just letting you know, we closed the Blue Ridge Parkway. So if you need to get out, here's the number to call.
Got you.
And I was like, well, I need to get out.
Damn.
And so I drove down the parkway, got to the gate, I had to call a park ranger mid-hurricane. I felt like an idiot.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Hey, come get me in the middle of a hurricane, y'all.
Were they chill when they actually pulled up?
They were chill about
it.
It's like that's just what they deal with, idiots like me.
Yeah, right.
You're all right.
That's crazy. They locked the door behind you. Technically,
so
right?
I was stuck up there. Until they came and got me. So
you were
that
solo?
Was my first. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That was my first ever backpacking trip. Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a fail. That sounds like a badass story.
It was
really.
It was interesting. Yeah. I could have done it better for sure. But it was on my fall break, and so that was the time I had time to go do it. You know?
Oh, word.
So I just went. I was like, who cares? Hurricane.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll figure it out.
We'll just go.
Nice. I dig the bravery in going into that. Really, just the openness to experiencing whatever it's going to bring. I mean, it sounds like you were under the impression it won't really fuck with the mountains anyways.
Yeah, I was very wrong.
Yeah.
I was super wrong, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so that was my first one, and then my second one was on my spring break, and I think it was, yeah. And I went for 4 nights just by myself. It was the longest period of time I had spent in the woods alone, and I remember that feeling pretty revolutionary too. That was the first time I realized when you give yourself a long enough period of time to let whatever's in your mind clear out, the clarity that comes from that is indescribable. And that was the first time I really tapped into that. And that was when I probably first realized wow, meditation would be really cool to get into. I'd already been kind of dabbling with it a little bit, but that's when I really was oh, I'm going to start doing this all the time.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've learned a lot of cool things along the way, but yeah, I've just stuck with backpacking in general. I probably got over 100 nights, 150 nights under my belt.
Word.
At this point, attempted to do the Pacific Crest Trail. The person I went with got injured on mile 100.
Yeah.
So
damn.
It was a valiant attempt, but yeah, it made me realize I want to get back out there, and I just want to do one on my own and see if I can do it.
Dude, yeah. So with, you said between 100 to 150 nights under your belt, right? Mm-hmm. So with that amount of experience under your belt, do you feel confident going into the AT?
Man, that's a really good question. I think the thing about going on such a big adventure like this is that I'm not really sure what to expect with that long-term exposure to the woods, and not only that, but the long-term physical grind.
Yeah.
It's, I feel like a thru hike is different than just like a weekend backpacking trip. Like, you know, you're gonna come home, you're gonna be chilling, you know, in like a few days, you're gonna get some like Mexican food or whatever and chow down.
Right.
Like, I feel like this is gonna be so radically different than that.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna be like a true physical grind. I mean, you're having to do like 15 miles a day, you know, at the least.
Holy fuck.
For like 5 months, 6 months, in whatever condition.
Right.
You know?
Like truly immersed.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine you'll come for groceries.
Yeah. So you got to resupply at times. Luckily, I had experience doing that on the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, out in California. I've had practice hitchhiking and all that sort of thing. That's interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh, so you
yeah, literally hitchhike into town.
Yeah, that'll be in the mix.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's like you're like a true nomad out there.
Dude, holy shit.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a unique experience, and honestly, man, I'm just excited to spend time in the woods as I am to just meet so many interesting people out there.
Yeah.
I think you know, I learned that doing the PCT is, you know, all the people who intentionally leave their life behind to go gallivant in the woods for like, or the desert or wherever for 6 months, like those are some cool people.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the people you meet at the mall. You know, it's like truly like unique individuals, and I'm excited to just share that with those people. So
what attracts you specifically? I mean, it sounds like that to some extent. The social, like the network that you might be able to build from attracts you specifically to doing that big of a thing. Like, is there anything more that you'd like to speak to that attracts you to taking on something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a few different reasons why I decided to do it. The first one that comes to mind is that I tried to attempt the PCT.
Yeah.
And that experience was without a doubt one of the best I've ever had.
Oh, really?
Those were some of the like best days of my life. I loved hiking on the PCT. Like it was just like the people, the experience of just being in the desert, hiking however long you got to do that day. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. Exactly like I thought I would too. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna really enjoy this, and I did. But you know, like I said, the person I went with got injured, and so I didn't want to keep going without them.
Right.
And so not finishing that makes me want to do another one.
I got you.
And being able to experience that again makes me want to do that. Also, I just want like a reset too. You know, like I feel like this is one of those things that could potentially be such an amazing experience, such a different experience than what just the average person is used to doing in their day-to-day, that I feel like it could really like change me as a person.
Right.
And I want to experience that. I'm like remaining very open to it. So I want to experience that, and also just want to like do something that like when I'm 80 years old one day, I like look back and I'm like, damn, like I lived my life.
Dude.
You know?
Nice. Yeah. I 100% get that. That's me with like the van. Really. That's a huge thing that was in mind when I bought the van. It was I want to like. Yeah, I just want to. What I feel like there's probably a word for for what we're talking about, like doing something intentionally, like to build character and to have a story to reflect back on. I feel like there's a word for that, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Dang.
I completely agree with that. So doing the van, like, if you don't mind me asking, like, when was it that you decided you were going to do that? Like, what was it that sparked that?
My last breakup. It was
Okay.
So like the breakup happened, and pretty quickly after the breakup happened, like quickly as in like 2 or 3 months, I realized that's when I realized, okay, I want to start like taking intention and time to like date myself, and like just stay solo and single for like at least a long time. And with that came this idea of I want to do something big for myself, and not really for myself. Actually, at the time I told myself I want to do something big to find myself, and it just so happened I drove past a gas station actually back home in Center Point, and there's this big ass Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van that was like tricked, that had solar panels on top and shit. And just out of curiosity, I put a pin in that in my mind, and I was like, when I get home, I know I have to take a shit, so let me scroll Facebook Marketplace and see how much one of those fucking things costs, because I was only concerned with like the cost, right? Like that was, I just wanted to know like how much is a big ass Sprinter van. I looked into it, it was like, you know, a lot of fucking money. But then like, I think on my YouTube suggested, like that day or the next day, there was like a van life video. The first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And I watched it. I can't remember what. I think it was by Different Media. Have you heard of them? He's a Canadian-based van tour guy. He does a bunch of different like van tours on people's vans.
No, I haven't heard of that.
It's a sweet channel. He does a really good job of documenting people's like van itself. And then also like he'll kind of get their story while he's talking to them too, and put it on the web. Anyways, so I like watched one of his videos, and I was like, I did a whole deep dive specifically on his channel, watching all these different people who live out of vans talk about like why they do it and shit. And I first of all, I was like, oh my God, this is this is actually a thing. People intentionally live out of vehicles as a means of like adventure. I had never heard of anything like it.
How long ago was that?
How long ago was that?
Yeah, like when was that?
That was sometime in late July, I think, of 2022.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So not too long ago.
Yeah, not really.
So like since I've been working at the place.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like that was, I kind of forgot where I was at in that story.
So you...
Oh, so I got the spark, right? Like I noticed this is really it was really catching my attention, because I literally had not ever in my life heard of people intentionally doing that.
Super interesting.
Yeah. And so I just like did more, I looked through videos and like just kept noticing like, wow, I would notice new little things after that, like, oh, all these people that this guy is interviewing, I feel like I could be friends with them. Like I feel like they're kind of they're my kind of motherfucker, you know?
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay. And then the seed really got planted that I should maybe try to do it myself, when me and my little sister were having a conversation actually. And I think I told her about, have you ever heard of the van life and shit? And before she even told me like yes or no if she'd heard of it, she's like, dude, I could so see you doing that. And then from that moment on, it was like, oh, okay, like this is something I should entertain. So I entertained it for a while, and then eventually was just like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Like that, it just felt right in so many different ways. I wish I knew more. I wish I could remember more details, because there was a lot of like, I want to call it magic, but there was a lot of like synchronicities that were happening at that time too, that kept pointing me in the direction of van life. You know, like the universe the whole time, dude, was just kept reminding me and dropping breadcrumbs, telling me like, dude.
Do you remember any in particular?
One of them really was like the conversation with my sister.
Okay.
And then like also actually something that played into it big time was I literally like got on social media and connected with a couple of people that Different Media interviewed. That the student interviewed. So like Shania, the chick that you met, and then Jupiter. Have you told you about Jupiter at all?
You did. I think. Where's Jupiter from again?
Canada. I call it Canada. But yeah.
Yes, I think you have told me about Jupiter.
Yeah. So I was able to actually like, both of them were so chill with me right off the bat on social media. Like I just texted them and asked like, hey, can I ask you questions? I'm just really curious. And they played a huge role in like making me realize, oh, this is so doable.
Oh yeah.
So not to say it's going to be easy, but yeah, I just recognize like the fact that they were so kind and open to me when I didn't even like live in a van. You know, like when we really had like nothing. Well, I don't want to say nothing in common, but when we didn't even both live in a van and they were still so chill with me, I was like, fuck, okay, there's something here.
So how did you end up getting your van?
Well, I think I shopped for one for like a little over a month. Shopped as in scrolled Facebook Marketplace, called, talked to dozens of different people really about their vans that they were selling. Soon after shopping strictly in Iowa, I realized I want to look south for a rust-free van, right? Like, because in Iowa, I don't know if you know, have you ever been to Iowa?
I've been once.
Okay, where?
I kind of just drove through it for like a day and a half.
Good, you're lucky.
I think I stayed like in some town, like some rural town for like 2 nights.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice the corrosion that happens to vehicles there? From the salty roads, when it's wintertime, we salt the fuck out of the roads and we use this horrible mixture.
Yeah.
It literally melts cars from the bottoms up.
Oh my God.
And that's like horrific for like the overall health of the vehicle.
I bet.
And so I like started to realize, I want to get something from the south, where they don't, primarily in the south, you guys don't get snow, A, and B, if you do, you don't use this fucking horrible shit on the roads, you just move it, or sand.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, then I actually, did I ever tell you that during that time when I was shopping for a van, a person that I called, I forget her name, but I still have her number and her name saved in my phone, because I've actually been meaning to like hit her up about this. She was selling this like green Econoline that she lived out of while she did wilderness therapy.
Oh, cool.
And like, when I called her on the phone just to ask her about her van and ask her like, you know, whatever the fuck it was that I was wanting to ask her.
Yeah.
She happened to just mention in one moment that she was a wilderness therapist guide or something. And it immediately caught my attention. I circled back to it later in the conversation, like 5 minutes later in the conversation. We ended up talking on the phone for 45 more minutes just about her job.
Oh, wow.
Because I was so, like my curiosity was instantly like.
Is that what got you interested
in working here?
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That was it.
Makes sense.
I mean, like, as soon as she told me, you help people, like, what I think she worked with just like, not in a drug abuse program kind of thing like we do, but just with struggling adolescents. Yes, as soon as I kind of realized like, oh, there's the puzzle pieces that come together here are like helping people, wilderness, and adventure. You know, when I realized that, I can get all those in one job, I was like, I fucking certainly have to do that at some point in my life.
Yeah. Little did you know you get 0 sleep and
dude,
all the other
and
things
like
come with it. Getting yelled at by
cussed out
people just incessantly.
Project lots of negative projection. Lots of at the adolescent campus, especially lots of like legitimate textbook bullying. Just like all day. That's how they like
bullying you, or this the other
everybody.
People,
I mean, there's friendly fire going on. It's horrific.
Oh, man. Jeez.
But it's all like, that's all fucking part of it. And honestly, I like it all. I really do. In the moments of all that shit going on, it's kind of rough. But looking back on it, it's character building.
It is.
Just like the
Dude, oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So how did we get on that?
Oh, you were just talking about your van. I'd asked you how you got into that.
Yeah. So real quick, I have to piss.
I do too.
Okay, cool. Let's pause then. Cool. Okay.
Good pee break.
Dude, yeah, I feel fucking like 15 pounds lighter.
Really?
Like when I started peeing, I felt tension release from my neck, which is.
Jeez, it's like built up in your neck.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it could be. I've noticed like us not being directly facing each other is kind of impeding or not impeding.
I'm gonna like turn like this. This is comfy.
Yeah.
I want to like.
Oh wow, that's way better. What the fuck?
All right.
Full disclosure, I definitely did not wash my hands just now. Did you?
I put water on them.
Yeah. Do you think that? I'm sure water just running over your hands to some extent gets some germs off, right?
I don't know.
Just physically speaking,
Maybe?
like If one, I mean, yeah, it has to do something.
I don't actually know.
It's not as good as soap.
Maybe it's like the temperature. I don't know. Like if it's hot. Like, I don't know.
Oh, if the water's hot, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might do more.
What?
It might do more. Like you're saying hot water might rinse away more germs?
Or like it might kill them.
Oh.
If it's like scalding hot.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
They're just like.
Oh, I think that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you don't even need the soap.
Right.
I don't know. There's some scientist that knows the answer to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck him. He's not here.
He's not here right now.
Yep. Okay, so I want to go back to the AT a little bit.
Sure.
How long does it usually take people to do that shit?
So.
Doing it through.
I'm just basing it off of what I've read online. So I think the Appalachian Trail Conservancy says that 5.5 is the average.
Months.
5.5 months. Yeah.
Dude.
But I've also seen other sources say that like 5 to 7 months is the average. I mean, but some people have done it in 4 months. Some people have done it in 3.
Yeah. Are you trying to hustle, or are you just like there to ride the wave?
No, I'm gonna like enjoy this. I actually, one of the trails that I did back in March, backpacking trails, was called the Foothills Trail, and that's like a 76-mile trail that kind of skirts the North and South Carolina line.
Okay.
And I feel like I can definitely say that I rushed that for sure. Like my plan was to do it in 6 days, but I ended up doing it in 5. And so I think my average mileage came out to be like 15.1 miles a day or something like that.
Got you.
It might have been more than that. And I feel like the entire time I was doing that, it just felt like I was rushing. You know, like it felt like I was just trying to get it over with. And like, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I don't know, I wanted like the accomplishment of finishing it. Oh,
yeah.
You know? And
you're more set on the...
I was like excited. I was like, I'm doing this. Like, let's finish it. I would have done it in 6 days rather than 5. The reason I did it in 5 is because the weather was going to be really bad.
Oh, got you.
On the fifth night. And so I decided I'm just going to do 19 miles and finish this in 1 day.
You did 19 in 1 day?
Yeah, I did 19.1 miles.
Damn.
On the last day to finish. And I remember my biggest takeaway from doing that trail was like, you have to slow down some and you have to enjoy it, because what else is the point?
Right.
You know, like there are some people who do these trails to just do them as quickly as humanly possible, like these fastest known time people.
Yeah.
You know, like I think like the fastest known time on the Appalachian Trail is like 41 days or something like that.
Wow.
It's like absurd.
What the fuck?
Yeah. They just like basically ultra marathon it the whole time. Like they're doing like 50 miles a day for like for 40 something days, you know?
Wow, that is incredible.
And there's like, I guess maybe they're enjoying that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be hard for me to imagine that, but
right.
Yeah, I really want to enjoy it, man. Like I've told myself, like if I'm not enjoying it, like why am I out here?
Right.
That being said, I want it to be a challenge too. Like I don't think it being a challenge is not enjoying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh,
like,
fuck yeah, dude.
Like if it's pouring down rain and I'm trudging up a mountain, I wouldn't say that like that would be like enjoyable, but I guess what I'm really going for is I want to really sink into the experience. And I don't feel like I was really doing that on the Foothills Trail. I was like very goal oriented. I was like, I gotta get to here. That's like all I was thinking about. I wasn't like enjoying the scenery and I don't want to do that. I want to like really sink into it, and whether if it's good or bad,
right?
You know, or miserable because it's pouring down rain. Like I want to like be right there with it, not be rushing the whole time to get to a place, get to this campsite, get to, you know, this next thing.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my goal.
Dude, nice. Yeah. That kind of shit, like the fixation on the destination rather than the journey getting there is something that like, I feel like personally I'm constantly having to dial back into, because it's like, I think it just takes away from like life. Yeah. When you're so obsessed with getting there and not like noticing what you're going through to get to the destination. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly what I want this experience to be. I don't want it to be like I'm hiking to Maine. I want it to be, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm getting up this mountain right now. That's it. That's all I'm thinking about.
Nice.
Yeah, and I would say the prior backpacking experience has led me to realizing like that's the important part for me.
Yeah.
So I can say that like past experience of backpacking has made me realize that. Like, that's the important part. Or else you just want to have fun. You want to enjoy it.
Right.
You know. So, yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to ask you about like you're gonna journal, right?
What's that?
You're gonna journal, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll probably bring like a little tiny journal. Yeah.
And like, since there's totally potential to get like rained on, are you gonna have everything in like weather tight bags and shit?
Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, I'll make sure to keep that safe. But they also make like waterproof paper.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll probably get one of those.
That's a thing, really?
Yeah, it's like when it gets rained on, it doesn't really like soak into the pages.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you have to look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get one of those probably at REI or.
Oh, word. Okay.
Just on Amazon or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll probably journal.
Got you.
Yeah, maybe not every day, but when I have the chance.
Whenever you feel like inclined to.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Yeah.
Moving intuitively. Nice.
I don't want it to like take away from connecting with people.
Right.
You know, if I'm like, oh, I got a journal tonight, but there's like a badass fire.
Yeah.
You know, and people are having a powwow, and like, I want to get in on that. You know.
Right.
So yeah.
So what other other gear? Are you concerned with anything? Like, what would be? I don't know if I want to ask what the most important piece of gear is. But what is the most important piece? Like, what to you? What to you is going to be like absolutely vital if it gets fucked up?
That's a good question.
That you would question if you could even finish, kind of thing.
Oh, like if you didn't have it?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Man. Okay. Well, my first thought was like my tent, like my shelter.
Oh yeah.
But like, the crazy thing about the AT is that of all the through hikes in the country, you can pretty much bounce from. They have these shelters every like 10 to 15 miles.
Really?
Yeah, the whole time, the entire way.
No shit.
From Georgia to Maine. So like, there's actually some people who just sleep in the shelters, like the whole time.
And don't take a tent.
Yeah, it's just like a
Holy fuck.
It's like a three-sided building. It's open in the front, and then there's a roof, and then you just get on in there and.
Really?
Yeah, you're protected from the elements, but. You know, you're kind of taking a gamble doing that because, you know, what if they're full or and then you don't have a tent, you know? I feel like you would at least want to have a tarp to put over you like cowboy camp.
Right.
So like, I don't even know if like the tent would be the most essential thing for the AT because you technically could get around that.
Yeah. But dude, what a gamble. Like, to speak to the gamble a little bit more, I just had this scenario come to mind of like, okay, if these are getting used a lot by humans, and humans have food, then like, who's to say one of the X amount of those that you come across isn't going to be not inhabited by a bear, but isn't going to be like fucking priority number one for a black bear that's gotten food there before.
So believe it or not, it's not even really the black bears you have to worry about. It's all the mice and rats.
Oh, no shit.
That have infested these shelters. So like there's these horror stories of people sleeping in these shelters and them just like feeling mice just running over them like, all night. And honestly, like in my experience, like I worry more about like the little critters getting into my food than like like a black bear.
Oh, right.
You know, like, because if I'm in the woods, like, I'll hear a black bear attempting to get my shit, and I'll like probably run out of my tent, like, try to get them away. But like, you wouldn't hear a mouse just like nibbling into.
That's a good point, dude.
You know, so yeah, I worry about that more, honestly. So yeah, a lot of people say they like refuse to sleep in the shelters because the mice are so bad.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with that. I'll probably sleep in some, like if it's not super full and I just don't feel like setting up my tent, you know. And I don't know, just for the variety.
Word.
You know.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah.
Are there any parts of yourself that you like to intentionally like shed, or like maybe not shed isn't the best word, but or like work through while you're out there? Do you know what I'm saying?
Ooh, that's a good question, dude. Man. Wow. I gotta think about that one.
Yeah, that's okay. We can come back to it if you want.
The first thing that's coming to mind is I'm gonna let whatever that is kind of reveal itself.
Oh, right.
To
Yeah.
me. There's some things that are coming to mind, like I feel like this experience is gonna make me like really like tough. You know, like really toughen me up, like, because I feel like you just have to be, you know, to be in the woods, like getting rained on, snowed on. You know, I met a guy, I was telling you, he was hiking from Maine to Georgia. He was doing a southbound hike. Just met him like 2 weeks ago. And he basically said like there was no water on the way, so he couldn't cook his dinner. So he just didn't eat dinner that night after hiking 18 miles.
Oh,
and
wow.
He had not had water at all that whole day. I probably got to him around like 1 in the afternoon. He still had not had a drink of water.
Dude.
And
did he seem okay?
He seemed good. Yeah. The first thing I asked him when I saw him was like, do you need, I was like, hey, are you like a through hiker? He was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to do the whole thing. I was like, do you need anything? Like, I've got a ton of water.
Yeah.
So he got some water for me. And yeah.
That's really cool.
So you just, I feel like it's just a constant like improvisation when you're out there, like, and you got to just roll with the punches. I feel like that's going to be a big lesson too. It's just, it's going to be the greatest lesson in just rolling with the punches. Mental toughness, physical toughness, but also like I feel like it's going to be like a deeply like spiritual experience as well. Like it has to be.
Yeah.
To be just immersed in nature like that. Yeah, it has. Like I just feel like that's got to be
part
something
of it
to expect.
Right.
Just whatever that is. I don't know what it is going to be, but yeah, I'm excited, man.
Dude.
I'm really excited.
And so, and part of you, aren't you? You're trying to remain open afterwards. In regards to like what you're doing with your life next, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good. I feel like that's such a good. Like that'll be such a good fucking like precursor to really slipping into whatever you need to be into.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. 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 I want whatever that experience gives to me. I want to just keep rolling with that.
Right.
You know, I feel like it'd be kind of dumb to like have this experience, like you have this could potentially life-changing experience, meet all these amazing people that could change your life. Right. And, you know, and then you get done with it and you're like, all right, I'm going to go right back into like my plan for my life. Right. You know, like, dude, that's why I'm really not creating much of a plan afterwards. I'm leaving it very open because I just want there to be a smooth transition. Right. You know, like one of the best quotes I ever heard is like, live your life like when each moment ends, it's not like you put a period on it, like you put a comma there and you just keep going. You know, and so like that's kind of how I want to look at this. Word. Like it ends and it's like I take whatever it gave me, and I continued with that.
Nice.
Yeah, so whether that's going in van lifing or becoming a monk, I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
Whatever it is.
Dude, so...
Go doing another hike.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Dude, I'm for real so stoked to see, to do another podcast like afterwards.
Yeah, that'd be cool,
you know,
man.
to like, to see.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really fucking wicked.
You should like, yeah, it'd be cool if you could meet me on the top of Mount Katahdin and I'm just dirty and sweaty as shit.
Yo, I would not be opposed to that.
Like
so that'll be in Maine.
Interview.
Yeah, no shit. That'll be in Maine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, dude, I mean, like, what month will that be that you would most likely finish up?
Well, if like the 5.5 month time period is like
spot on.
It's like that would be like mid-September.
Oh, got you.
Yes. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that really could line up in regards to. I think by that time I'd be in Canada, and specifically I'm actually the first part of Canada that I want to roll through is where I want to try to meet Jupiter like in person, the guy that I mentioned earlier. But it's
where is it?
It's
in Canada.
I can't remember the part of Canada. I want to say BC, British Columbia.
Is it like west?
Which is like
very
next
west?
to fucking Maine and shit.
Oh,
I think.
So far west would be like Washington State. So British Columbia is the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
super
I'm thinking
west.
far east. No, yeah. I was thinking the opposite direction. I'm thinking far east of Canada.
Oh, okay. So you're going east. So what would be east? Like
I'm pretty sure it's like.
Is it Newfoundland that's over there?
I have no idea. Have you ever been to Canada?
Quebec? No, never. Thought about going.
Dude, I was gonna say I've heard the Rockies that go through Canada are fucking on point.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Could you ever see yourself moving west?
Out west?
Yeah.
Man, maybe in the past. But I've traveled out west quite a few times. I've been to every state out west except for North Dakota at this point.
Oh, word.
And I spent like a significant period of time out there, and personally, man, like I actually enjoy the East Coast more. And I think I just like the ecology more on the East Coast. I love how out west there's just these massive mountains, the deserts, these incredible canyons and mesas and all that. Snow-capped Rockies, whatever. But I'm like, I love like the biodiversity that the East Coast has.
Right.
You know, like the ecosystems aren't that different on the East Coast. You know, it's really just like a big green forest everywhere you go, except maybe Florida or whatever, where there's, you know, some different kind of stuff down there.
Right.
But I really love the East Coast. Like I think I'm probably gonna be here.
Got you.
Yeah, I took a big 2-month road trip out west last year, and that's when it really hit me. I was like, man, I love the East Coast.
No shit.
I love like all the birds and the green, lush forests, and the salamanders, and just the rain. Like I realized like I love rain. Like I love just rivers, and you just don't get that as much out there.
So that just made me think of another question in regards to the AT. Are you gonna hunt or anything? Like, are you gonna fish for?
Oh no, probably not.
Yeah.
No, it'll be pretty much all resupply.
Got you.
Yeah. So whenever I get to a point where I need more food, I'll just either walk to town if it's close enough, or get the hitchhike.
Word.
You know, my family says they'll help support me.
Got you. What does that mean? What do they mean by that? Like financially?
No. Just like if I get to a road, they'll help drive me to town.
Oh, got you.
You know, like the Appalachian Trail actually runs pretty close to Asheville. You know, in some areas it's only like 30 minutes from Asheville. So, like at some parts they'll probably just come pick me up, and I'll get to have a nice cozy bed for like a night or two and get some Mexican food. That's my favorite.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Just load up on carbs and meat.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, that's the plan. So,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Yeah. How about you? Have you ever wanted to move out west?
Ever been what?
Have you ever wanted to move out west?
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. When I think I told you a little bit about the psychedelic science conference that I went to.
In Colorado.
That was in Denver, yeah. Yeah, and like, so that, I was out there for like a little over 3 weeks, living, you know? I mean, I didn't have a job. I did not have a job.
Oh, I thought you stayed longer for some reason. I don't know why.
No, just like
Just
it was
3 weeks?
Yeah, like a smidge over 3 weeks, yeah. Yeah, but and before that though, I've been to Colorado like a lot with my family, specifically Estes Park. Like that was a huge.
Oh yeah, it's a nice area.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, right outside the national park.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and so we've also been in the national park a bunch, and so like I know like because of all my experience, at Estes Park, I literally know the roads. Like I know how to drive around there without maps and shit. I don't know what just made me think of that, but it is pretty nice. It's handy.
Have you done that drive through the national park, that one that goes like up over like 12,000 feet?
Yeah.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
I forget what that's called, but absolutely. I think when myself and my family have done that multiple times.
Yeah.
But my whole point with bringing all that up was the West Coast or the West, for sure I'd be open to like settling down at. But I'm like, you know, part of the van thing is to explore a bunch of parts of the world, or the United States anyways, that I haven't explored yet.
Yeah.
So I can eventually like fucking throw down some roots.
Figure out where you like.
Yeah. So like that's what discourages part of me from wanting to take the van back to like Boulder / Estes Park area specifically, because like I already know what at least I think I already know what it's like there. Yeah, like I think, fuck dude, well I have this van, it'd almost kind of be like wasting time a little bit if I went back there and lived there, even though I know I'd fucking love it, because I already have done it and I've already loved it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's also like, I feel like van lifing is easier out west.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. How do you reckon?
Like, I just feel like it caters to that lifestyle better.
Oh.
You know, I feel like the East Coast is so dense, and there's really not as many like. There's not as much like BLM land, like Bureau of Land Management.
Oh, right.
And like national forest land. There's less protected wilderness on the East Coast. And I feel like on the West Coast, it just caters to doing the van lifing thing. I feel like it's just more like accepted out there. Like I think just more people do it on the West Coast.
Potentially. I don't know the data there, but.
I don't either, but I just, you know, I see there's this channel on YouTube, it's called Cheap RV Living.
Okay.
And it's like all these people living out in like Arizona, like van life in it, like in this BLM land. And I just like, you just don't see that on the East Coast.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, dude. Yeah. Like specifically about the land. Yeah, that's a great point in drawing the hypothesis that the West Coast probably is like more quote unquote friendly for van life and van living and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely like pros and cons to each side of the country.
Right.
You know. But I just slightly lean towards the East Coast for sure.
Yeah. This definitely, dude, this whole thing coming to Asheville, bro, has definitely gave me an awesome taste of the East Coast, right? Yeah. I mean, I went to New York City actually like 4 or 5 years ago for a family vacation, and it fucking sucked. I despised everything about it. It was New York City. Like, it wasn't at all. I'd never been a city dude.
Was that?
When I was, actually, I think it was when I was like 19 or 18. So yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago.
So for the most part, on just the very East Coast, you've been to like New York and Asheville.
Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, that is literally it. It's Asheville.
Dude.
And New York City.
I feel like on the East Coast, like I feel like Asheville is like in this surrounding area is like one of the best parts of the entire East Coast. Besides like, I don't know, like Maine.
Yeah, what else?
Something like that.
What are there any cities in mind that come up other than Asheville?
Cool cities on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Depends what you really want. Like if you want nature and that sort of thing, like you kind of want this vibe.
Yeah.
nestled in like the Blue Ridge or something like that. Like, I don't know, maybe like Roanoke.
What?
Is that the one I'm thinking of? Roanoke.
Okay.
Yeah, Roanoke, Virginia.
Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Okay.
Yeah. Anywhere in Maine. Vermont is really cool. I don't have any like particular cities in mind.
Word.
For the most part, when I went to the Northeast, I didn't really stay in a lot of cities. I just kind of went from like campsite to campsite the whole time. I love Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
You should check that out sometime. If
Dude.
you want like kind of like a closer to the coast vibe.
Is it?
Very historical.
Like
yeah.
beachy? Is it beaches?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like right on the coast.
Word.
Yeah, and it's a completely different vibe than here, though, because you're kind of on the coast. You know, I don't know how good van lifing would be there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be very easy to do.
I don't know either.
So, yeah.
It's interesting you bring that up because I just had a friend get back from she called it a Savannah getaway.
It's a cool town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the way I always like kind of describe it to people who haven't been. It's like it feels like, you know how like most cities you go to, it feels like you're in a city and like the nature's like just on the outside of it. You know, it's like city and just nature.
Yeah.
Savannah's one of the only cities you'll ever go to where it feels like there's a city in the woods.
Wow.
It's like the whole city is like an arboretum.
That's really
There's
cool.
Just like these massive trees just lining the sidewalk. These live oak trees, and it's one of the coolest cities in the East Coast, in my opinion.
No shit.
Definitely check it out.
Dude, yeah.
It's busy.
Savannah, Georgia?
So Savannah, Georgia.
How long of a drive is that from here?
Like 5.5 hours?
Word.
Maybe?
And it's straight. Well, it's like southwest?
Like southeast.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know the
Southwest would be like towards like Alabama.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, Alabama.
I wonder if that makes me kind of want to hit that maybe before I head back home.
Yeah.
Like before I leave the East Coast.
Down there.
Yeah, right.
Get some warmth and then go
and
back
then shoot
up to
up
where it's blizzarding and stuff.
Fuck. We'll see.
Yeah.
Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've been going actually right in an hour. I feel like there was something else I wanted to throw your way.
I mean, I did want to ask you about your kirtan, why you didn't go. But.
Yeah, kirtan dancing. So, it wasn't anything crazy. Well, I didn't end up going. I went, tried to get in. They didn't have my name on the list, and instantly I was like, "Fuck, what's going on here?" Showed them my email that I have that says like you purchased tickets. It didn't have a confirmation number or anything. It just said you've purchased tickets for one of these two events. One of them was the kirtan thing. The other one was an event that they had on Christmas Day, which I know I wouldn't have bought a ticket for because we were working.
Right.
And I showed the dude my email, and he's like, "Well, I don't quite know why he says that. This is actually," he remembered that sending that specific email to everybody that was just what was it? It was his like advertisement for the two events.
Yeah.
So, and I think I only got it because I've purchased a ticket for his events in the past. So I got this promotional email and thought I had bought a ticket. And I really I remember like over a month ago was when I first heard of it and told myself, oh, I'm totally going to that. So I pieced two and two together, right? Those previous thoughts of like, yeah, I'll go. And then I had this email that looked like a ticket confirmation. And then I got there and ended up realizing it wasn't that. And he said, you know, we are full, but if you got $60, we'll make an exception and you can just get in here. But I just wasn't feeling it.
So did they take money out of your account? Like, did you check?
No, so I scrolled through my bank shit, and no, I never, nothing ever did come out.
Oh, damn.
I mean, there was one.
So you weren't too disappointed, though?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
For sure. That was definitely like a little bit like, fuck. Like, I was looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah.
But I ended up going to, what was it called? It's a Dharma center.
Urban Dharma?
Yeah, Urban Dharma.
I love Urban Dharma.
They did a candlelight vigil.
Oh, nice.
And fucking like you write on a piece of paper or something you want to shed for the year of 2020, or something you want to leave in 2023, put it in a singing bowl, and they were doing chanting around the singing bowl with all these candles and like hitting it and shit.
Oh yeah, that's a great place.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
Some cool stuff going on.
It was very meaningful.
Dude. Every Thursday night there, they do this thing called Open Sangha. You should check that out sometime. Oh. It's like completely free. They do a meditation, and then they have like a guy who's like an expert on Buddhist philosophy give this kind of teaching, and you're all sitting there like on pillows like right in front, and it's very cool. It's completely free, like every Thursday night at like 7:30.
Really?
I used to go to that like every week back in the day before COVID broke out, and I just haven't gotten back.
I would totally be interested in
hitting that. And they still do it.
Yeah.
I just checked the other week. I was like, do they still do this? So I got online and they still do.
Dude, you know, when I was in there yesterday, right? Yesterday night.
Where is it still by? Is it still downtown?
No, it's by an Ingles.
They moved
by a breakfast joint that's really popular.
Biscuit Head.
What?
Biscuit Head?
No.
Taco Billy.
No.
Sunny Point.
Sunny something, I think, or Sunny Cafe.
Yeah, Sunny Point Cafe.
Yeah.
They're by there now?
Yeah, it's in a strip mall.
Oh, okay.
In the corner of a strip mall.
Dude, that's right. I did know that they moved over there because I lived on that side of town like 2 years ago, and I remember seeing them there. I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, I was going to mention, like, when I was in there, I asked one of the, like, management people, or just, like, one of the workers, hey, do you guys do anything with Vipassana meditation here? Which is, I told you about the retreat that I did, right?
Yep.
So, because that's like a part of Buddhism, which is what the Dharma, urban Dharma is, right? Is a Buddhist thing?
Is it Buddhist?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Buddhist, yeah.
So, yeah, and she ended up giving me a piece of paper that had a couple of different like things for when they do Vipassana meditations and shit, which is cool.
Oh, yeah.
And this whole thing just reminds me, like, when I got done doing that retreat, they really, like, it really made me recognize that is it pronounced Dhamma or Dharma?
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like white people just call it, it's like Dharma.
Yeah. Yeah, oh God.
The white people way of saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but dude, that's like a fucking community of people that are like-minded, right? Like that's totally, I just recognize this could totally be something that I stick to as I travel the fucking, because that's all over the Dharma centers, they're all the fuck over the country and like, and Canada and shit. So I thought like, wow, it'd be, I thought of it metaphorically as like a pivot point for when I move around, right? Like, kind of like I've already done with ecstatic dancing. I've used ecstatic dance to really jump right into a community as soon as I fucking move somewhere.
Absolutely.
But I could do that with Dharma as well. That's what I'm saying.
True that.
God, I feel like I butchered the fuck out of that.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's like I don't know.
It's like religion.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not religion, right? I don't think Buddhism technically is a religion.
It depends who you ask.
Yeah.
Because I've seen even like the Dalai Lama say that he would consider it like a religion.
Oh, really?
In some sense, but it's also like just a lifestyle and like a philosophy.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It really just depends like which form of Buddhism you go into. Some are like really dogmatic and like you read stuff and you're like, whoa, I didn't know Buddhism was this like, woo. And then like some of it is kind of more like secular, you know, like not as,
right.
You know. So yeah, it just depends like what kind of like Buddhism you want to go into.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, so I didn't end up, to circle all the way back to what we were talking about. I didn't end up going to the fucking thing. I went to the Buddhist thing anyways. Or went to the Buddhist thing.
That's a good alternative.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
I stayed till like 8:45 and then got in the van. I was actually.
Where'd you camp last night?
Where did I camp?
Yeah.
The Publix.
Publix.
Yeah, I drove straight back there.
True.
Yeah. She's fucking reliable. And I even when I woke up this morning, one of the first things I did was a 20-minute jog. I jogged past Gold's Gym and down towards I got to the Whole Foods.
Nice.
And like, I was just like eyeballing spots to see where maybe I could hide and
by
post
the Whole
up.
Foods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't really find anything that was too promising.
I'm trying to think where else you could go kind of down in that area, but Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But, yeah. So anything else, in regards to the AT, anything else you want to speak to? Or like anything you want to tell your future self when you're done? Or ask, you know? Any questions or statements for your future self? Probably could have thought of that before the pod. Like, we could probably... probably could have thought of that before the podcast.
I honestly just kind of want to say, like, whatever happened, whatever I got out of it, just good job.
Nice. Yeah,
good job.
Shout out future Chris.
Even if if I didn't finish, did my best. Right. You know, if I got injured, did my best. You know, good job.
Nice. Fuck yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, it'd almost be kind of cool. Remember you sent me one of the Myers and Young personality test?
Yeah.
I wonder if the effect from this event or from this like experience could be so profound that it might shift your personality a little bit. So wouldn't it be interesting to take a test before you go and then after?
Yeah, I've heard that yours can change as your life goes on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was super surprised.
By mine? I forgot my answer again. Do you remember what it was? IF?
It was ENFJ.
ENFJ.
Dude. It makes sense. I feel like you could be like either or. ENFP, ENFJ, yeah. But I am surprised.
Yeah.
Because the difference between the J and the P is like kind of like how like more like structured you are. You know, like if you're a J, you're more of like structured and you always come up with a plan for stuff and like and like the P is more like you more go with the flow and like you don't really come up with a plan. And I thought you would be more like in that category.
So when I was answering the questions that I think were related to those, I remember like clicking like uncertain on some of them.
Yeah.
And really like those are probably the questions I spent the most time on because like, dude, in the past for most of my life, I've been way more structured than I have been since I've been living out of the van. But the van just doesn't allow for that much structure straight up.
Yeah.
So that's what's caught me up in those questions. Like, fuck, I think I probably naturally lean one way, but I've been this way for now a good 4 or 5 months.
Right. So it's kind of like bringing out another part of you.
Yeah, like I think I actively am. Like we were just talking about, I actively am changing. Like my personality is totally actively shifting.
Oh yeah, it has to be fluid.
I think it probably honestly always is to some extent. But when you switch up your fucking lifestyle, like you're about to do, especially like living off the trail.
True.
Something's gonna fucking like really click.
Right.
Or really shift.
Right. Yeah. There's only so much structure you can have when you're living out of a tent.
Dude.
But yeah, I was still surprised though. I remember like seeing that when you sent that to me. I was like, damn. Because like I actually read I don't know if you read the description of like after you got it and you like read it.
No, I literally just screenshot it and sent it to you. I did not do any reading.
Dude, because like if you read the description, there's like a kind of like a psychological breakdown of that person. And I read the ENFP one because I thought that's what you were, by the way. And I remember reading it and I was like, yeah, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
But I haven't read the ENFJ one, so.
Word.
But it does make sense though. I could see it.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it for sure.
Dude, isn't it kind of interesting how humans, like, I think it's interesting that so many humans are so interested by themselves, like by like
their own psychology.
Yeah, like, and I guess I don't know where that question could lead, or where that statement could lead.
Yeah,
it's kind of
like a self-discovery thing,
right?
Like kind of diving more into your psyche,
right?
Like understanding it.
It makes me wonder if other animals ever are like, wait a minute, you know, like what does it mean to be me?
Why do I like freaking acorns?
Yeah, dude, straight up, bro.
The squirrel's just like,
dude, yeah, what? Like, there's no fucking way that there's never been a moment where a squirrel looked at a bear and said, wait a minute, why don't I try berries or honey?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's true. Yeah, I wonder if like animals can learn things from like other species.
Right.
You know, because I know that they can learn things from their own, but like I don't know. Yeah, if they can like watch if a moose can watch a.
Right.
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Bear.
Wait, doesn't all knowledge? I don't think Okay, wait. Well, I think it's just how the human brain works. Is like we can't actually ever like 110% create something new. Like whether it's an invention or like an act, because we like for example in our dreams we can't the faces that we see in our dreams like of humans walking
they're
by,
all ones we've seen.
they're actual like faces that we've seen before. I don't know if we put them together, like I don't know if we mesh them.
Oh, true.
But like,
I didn't think about that.
So if that whole
true that,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you got half one dude, like person's face, and half of another.
Right.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, that would be super trippy.
Yeah.
But if that concept that like nothing, well, I don't really know where I'm going with that one. No, I kind of do. Like if that concept of something can't really be created from scratch, everything is just like slowly built off of each other.
Right.
Then I think cross-species learning has had to have happened in the past. You know, like a monkey might have seen you know?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I mean, well, the first thing that comes to mind is like they've taught gorillas like how to do sign language.
Right.
Like communicate, and obviously like they had to learn that. Or like, you know, like a human can train a dog to do
oh my God.
commands.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, you know, maybe some of like the smarter animals like you know, are capable of, you know, like if you go to SeaWorld, like they can literally teach a dolphin how to like fucking do a backflip.
Yeah.
It's like a dolphin has no like evolutionary reason to do a goddamn backflip.
Yeah, right.
So it's like
until we said like, here's a piece of food.
Right.
Now do it, bitch.
Food, now do a backflip.
Yeah. That's so fucked up, dude.
All right.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
I don't know. That's fucked up.
I mean,
I think SeaWorld has undergone some heat.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, especially with oh man, there's like a documentary that came out.
The white, the blue, the big,
Blackfish?
the killer whales.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Blackfish?
Oh,
I can't remember.
No, I can't remember.
But yeah, that might be it. I can't remember. Is that about SeaWorld? I don't know. I've never seen it. I'm just making stuff up.
Oh God.
I'm just talking. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Yeah, I love thinking about that kind of stuff. Honestly.
Same.
That's like my love.
I think that was one of the questions in that personality test was, do you often think about the complexity of life?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, fuck yes, dude.
Yeah, so that one is the, I think that's like deciding if you're like an intuitive type. Or maybe
really?
That's like the thinking type. I can't remember. But
I feel like that would have more to do with thinking.
It could be.
But I don't know.
I feel like in that system, like if you're an intuitive, it's like you, rather than going through the world and you're looking at everything like just like as the facts, like you kind of like have like this other layer where you're looking through things like abstractly, like you kind of like to create like abstract very like philosophical or like I don't know, or like what something kind of stands for. I don't know, like rather than like what it actually is. Like if you look at like Victoria's Secret, it's like, okay, I just see the sign there. It's like just the concrete building. Like that would be more like a sensory type. But like if you're like an intuitive type, you would be like, oh, that symbolizes the greed of capitalism.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Whatever. And you kind of like have this like deeper layer to everything. So and I figured that's what you would be, because you're more of like a kind of like inquisitive kind of person. You know?
Yeah.
So like it just seemed, and you're always kind of like trying to find the deeper meaning, which is more of like an intuitive kind of abstract kind of thinker. So that's kind of why I figured you were an N for sure, which that was like the strongest one you had.
Right.
Of all of them. I was surprised to see all the other ones were like very close to the center. But yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Super interesting.
There is something to be said, I think, about the value of being able to really see really look out into the world and see only the raw, true data, right? Like only seeing the Victoria's Secret sign for a sign that has letters and they're pink, versus like you seeing the animal abuse that they've done or something, like animal testing,
whatever depth you take that information to,
right?
Yeah, you like synthesize it, you create something else besides the actual reality.
Yeah. Dude, and I feel like I come across this a lot where somebody's like, even I'll notice it in myself, absolutely, where somebody's like venting about something, and they'll have, like, as they vent to me, they're kind of drawing out this picture of what they're upset about or whatever it is, and I'll notice moments when they've like totally assumed something or totally like. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Like, and that is, I think that's overlapping with what we're talking about in the sense that, like, yeah, some people just like look out into the world and fucking start drawing a whole big picture when really they only have like the data that they've actually just been provided in actual reality.
Right.
Isn't even enough to make a quarter picture yet. But they add on all these fucking fancy things. And get lost in it when that's not even real yet. It kind of, dude, it's like limerence a little bit.
It's true. Yeah, it is. But like some people's minds are like literally built to just, it's like their baseline to do that. Like I know, like for me personally, like when I take that test, like I am like so far in the direction of that. Like, dude, like my like biggest weakness is that like I am not like in physical reality ever. Like, dude, like I like forget. Like I'll just be like, I can just sit down, like just be in my head, like just thinking, like thinking about like everything, and then like somebody will talk to me, and I'm just like, oh fuck, like, dude, like I'm in reality shit. I gotta like talk to people, you know, and like, you know, that's something I need to get better at, you know, recognizing when that happens. But it's like my brain just like, it's like on autopilot, like it just does it, yeah, that's why like psychology is like so interesting because it's like everybody and whatever experience they've had or even genetics, whatever it is, everything that culminates into that just creates like this unique way that your brain works.
Right.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like I really just like the people who are just absolutely in the present like all the time, and that's their, and they're not really like thinking about things abstractly or like looking at like the deeper meaning or whatever like that. Like to me, like that is like, it's like almost admirable in a way. You know, because it's like, wow, like you are so absorbed in like the here and now.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I think there's I definitely think there's pros and cons to all these different things, right?
Yeah.
Like
There, for sure.
Like somebody who I don't know if I really have an example. I was gonna try to like muster up an example, but I don't know if I can think of a good one. Like like when I look out into a forest, I think of like, dude, all these different trees are fucking communicating with all the other plants, and I'm sure there's, you know, hundreds of millions of miles of fungi, mycelium crawling through the ground. I think about all that when I look out into a fucking forest.
Absolutely.
But when
you see the whole system.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I just think of like, wow, I think about the fact that every tree is like, to some extent, an actual miracle. Like when you think, I think I've heard of what's his name? The black scientist who's...
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson has said numbers before that have absolutely blown my fucking mind in regards to like what the chance is of a tree actually like coming to life from seed. Anyway, my point being, like, I see that, whereas some other people like look out into a forest and they just like, they see this array of colors.
Right.
And like...
They just see the forest.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is like, that could be cool.
Which is also
but
cool.
My view is pretty magic, and it fucking makes me feel inspired and in awe and like all this shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like again, it's like, you're taking the physical reality.
Yeah.
And it's like you're creating this abstract idea around it.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's kind of why I figured you were probably more of like an intuitive rather than like a sensing kind of person. But yeah, because I watch you do that. Like you'll, I don't know, like be looking at something and it's just like you kind of like take it rather than what it actually is. Like with a static dance, you know, like some people go to a static dance and for them it's like, I'm just dancing, having a good time. But like creating that deeper meaning to it and like this abstract idea that it's about building your confidence and like the defining like whatever, like that's a cool thing that some people's brains do.
Right.
And it's like, what's the purpose of that? Who knows? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, it's good that there's just like variety. Like, it's great that there's some people who don't think like that, and there's some people that do. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's super interesting.
It is, man.
To me. Yeah.
So did you take psychology classes when you were in college?
No, but that's just one of those things that I just like naturally enjoy.
Word.
Yeah, I just love like looking at different people and just like trying to figure them out. Yeah, it's just like just something I love to do. That's probably why I was drawn to the work that we do, because you kind of have to use psychology a bit. You got to like look at people and you got to like without their words, like or very few words, try to figure out what exactly, even just by their body language, like what's this guy going through, like you know, and just being attuned to that. Like, that's just something that I've always kind of been in tune with. And so, yeah, I just always have enjoyed it. That's why, like, when I meet people, I'm just like, all right, who is this person?
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It's fun.
Well, I have to shit.
Okay.
And...
You want to...
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. I mean, unless you have anything else you want to speak to. I can't think of any other questions.
I also have to piss.
Okay.
Pretty bad. So.
It's 5:01. Do you want to get food at Mr. T again?
Dude, it's closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's New Year's.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, but...
Another time.
There's other places.
True. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right.
All right.
Cool, we did it.
We did it.
Nice.
All right, let's do it.
Good shit, bro. Thank you for joining me, man.
Oh, yeah. Anytime.